Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. The horror stories of India's untold deaths continue. More bodies, floating corpses found in the holy river, the Ganga, after Bihar. Today, bodies are found in the river Ganga in Uttar Pradesh. The bodies found floating in Ghazipur near Varanasi. A BJP MP from Bihar says that ambulance drivers are throwing bodies off a bridge that links Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. At least 71 bodies now found. From Andhra Pradesh, 11 patients have died of a disruption in oxygen supply in a Tirupati hospital. The Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister writes to the Prime Minister saying we need more oxygen now in the state. Overall, India's corona numbers today dropped by nearly 10%. The government saying 18 states cases are now plateauing or actually dipping. But also the government says a major shift now from RT-PCR tests to rapid antigen needed urgently, especially in rural India. Karnataka is now India's worst hit state, worse than Maharashtra. The state's first oxygen express arrives today in Bangalore. Also, liquid oxygen is being brought in by Navy ships. Good news coming in from Mumbai and Delhi. Mumbai's positivity rate is now down to 6%. Delhi is down to 17.8%. That's a 50% dip in 2 weeks. The Chief Minister says give the vaccine formula now to all Indian companies. Just 2 companies can't make this. Meanwhile, Maharashtra stops 18 to 44 vaccinations. They said we have to focus on remaining stock for those over 45. Telangana now goes into a lockdown. This as ambulances from Andhra Pradesh are now not being allowed into Hyderabad. Also, long lines today for liquor before tomorrow's lockdown. In a first, all 77 BJP MLAs in West Bengal will get central security. The cost to the taxpayer is an estimated 1.5 crores a month. The lead story tonight remains that of what are India's untold and uncounted deaths. This as more bodies have been found in the holy river, the Ganga. Today, at least 71 bodies have been found in Bihar, which local administration says is all coming from Uttar Pradesh. In fact, a BJP MP from Bihar said that there's a bridge where ambulance drivers are actually stopping and throwing dead bodies off the bridge. This is the stories that these floating corpses in India's holiest river is telling us.
The story of the floating corpses, the horror afloat, first in Bihar's Buxar and then in UP's Ghazipur. Just who is dumping bodies like this? Who is carrying out this act against humanity? Not even according dignity in death. While an investigation and a blame game between UP and Bihar is on. Shocking pictures have now emerged from the UP-Bihar border of bodies being tossed into the river from the Jayaprabha bridge. Locals say ambulance drivers are throwing bodies of COVID patients into the river.
संक्रमित लाशें बस 200 या 300 के आसपास होगी। सीओ साहब आए थे और ऊपर से देखकर चले गए। क्या बोले? बोले कि सफाई के लिए 500 रुपए देंगे, इसके बाद चले गए।
BJP MP from Bihar's Maharajganj says that the police must carry out patrolling so that bodies are not dumped into the river.
जेपी सेतु से जो छपरा बलिया के बीच में जो सेतु है उस पर से लोग बॉडी नीचे बिक देते हैं। मैंने जिला के पुलिस के बड़े पदाधिकारियों से भी और यहाँ के स्थानीय थाना प्रभारी से भी मैंने बात किया है। उस पर सख्ती करिए कि लोग बॉडी बिगे ना, उसको डिस्पोजल करने का जो तरीका है उस तरीका से करिए और उसके लिए प्रशासनिक स्तर पर वहाँ कराई हो, प्रशासनिक स्तर पर व्यवस्था हो। मैंने बड़ी अधिकारियों को भी और थाना प्रभारी को भी मैंने ऐसा आग्रह किया है।
Earlier this morning, people of Ghazipur's Gehmar village along the banks of river Ganges woke up to this horror, floating bodies in a state of decay, as if the fear of COVID spread wasn't scaring enough. The stench from these bodies spread fear of further disease.
इसकी जानकारी प्रशासन को पहले दे दी गई थी कि यहाँ पर लकड़ी के अभाव में यहाँ पर जो है जल प्रवाह किया जा रहा है, जिसमें गहमर, करहिया, खुदरा, बिहार के सीमावर्ती इलाके, पचौरी, सायर, ये लगभग 12-13 गांव के जल प्रवाह यहाँ पर हुए हैं। अभी तो दुर्गंध आ रही है। आने वाले भविष्य में यदि इसको नहीं रोका गया तो यहाँ पर महामारी फैल जाएगी।
Questions are now being asked of the local administration on who exactly is dumping these bodies. When no religion mandates consigning bodies to the river, when Hinduism mandates consigning bodies to flame, when Islam mandates a burial, then who and why has this unholy act happened in a holy river?
सूचना हमें थोड़ी देर पहले मिली है। हमारे अधिकारी गण मौके पर इस समय हैं, जांच चल रही है। हम ये चेक करा रहे हैं कि ये डेड बॉडीज कहां से आई हैं, कैसी हैं तो कहां है और कितनी संख्या में है। हमारे अधिकारी मौके पर चेक कर रहे हैं।
On Monday, reports came in of 50 corpses washing up on the banks of the river in Bihar's Buxar. Officials began a blame game, saying that may have been done in UP as Bihar does not have a tradition of dumping bodies in the river.
लाशें इधर गंगा जी में दिख रही हैं, 10-12 लाशें जो दिख रही हैं, उसका ये पता किया गया कि गंगा जी में ही दूर से प्रवाहित होकर वो लाशें आई हैं और वो हमारे घाट की तरफ वो किनारे पर लग गई हैं।
The real challenge now is to ascertain if more bodies have been dumped into the river and to also find out if these are locals who are scared to handle COVID bodies or are government officials complicit to keep the COVID death count low. The truth about this inhuman act will surely be ugly. With Ajay Singh, Kamal Khan and Manish Kumar, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Each of these unidentified, unclaimed floating corpses is someone's loved one. Remember also, they're not counted anywhere in official data. Meanwhile, again, this tragic story as 11 patients of COVID died at a Tirupati hospital, the holy city of Tirupati, late last night, apparently because their oxygen supply was disrupted. Andhra Pradesh's Chief Minister has now written to the Prime Minister asking for urgent supply from other states to help Andhra Pradesh.
Disturbing visuals of patients in distress, attenders in panic, and medical staff desperately trying to save lives in the ICU wards of Tirupati's SVR Ruia Hospital on Monday night after oxygen supply was disrupted. Chittoor District Collector Harinarayan said oxygen supply disruption happened for 5 minutes and 11 people had died.
సగరం ఇన్సిడెంట్ జరిగిందో కేవలం ఒక 5 నిమిషాలు మాత్రమే మనకు ఆ ఇన్సిడెంట్ అనేది జరిగింది. ఆ 5 నిమిషాల్లో వచ్చేసి ట్యాంకర్ రావడం, మనం వెంటనే దాన్ని సరిచేయడం వల్ల చాలా ప్రాణాన్ని కాపాడగలిగాము.
Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy regretted that despite the government's best efforts to ensure oxygen, the tragedy could not be averted.
We had to airlift 6 ట్యాంకర్లను గన్నవరం ఎయిర్పోర్ట్ నుంచి we airlifted to Orissa. But these are testing times. I request to all the collectors, do not be disheartened by what has happened, but be more vigilant, become more and more humane.
The 10,000-litre oxygen storage tank at the 1,100-bed hospital with 150 ICU beds and 400 oxygen beds ran out because the oxygen supply was delayed from Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister has now written to the Prime Minister asking for oxygen allocation to the state to be enhanced from 590 metric tons to 910 metric tons. With inputs from Tirupati, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Two stories there of tragedy from different parts of the country, but let's just look at the overall India picture. Well, the good news slightly is that positive cases in the last 24 hours have gone down by around 10%. There are 3,29,942. This is the tests in the last 24 hours have gone up by 20%. So that's good. The low numbers aren't because of low testing. But the deaths in the last 24 hours have gone up slightly by 3%. They are 3,876. Remember, there is a lag between higher cases and higher deaths. These deaths reflect cases of about 10 days to 2 weeks ago. Also, deaths are being underreported. Our overall positivity rate of India has gone down by nearly 7%. It's currently at 17.83%. Our vaccinations have gone up in the last 24 hours. They're over 25 lakhs. That's up by 72%, a day after they went down by 66%. The government today in its official briefing also said that there are indications that 18 states cases here are actually plateauing or dipping. So they said the case positivity for states, more than 15% positivity is in 26 states. Well, that's most of India actually. So you can see the states there, but 18 cases plateauing and dipping, as they said. Also, case positivity for states between 5 to 15% is just 6 states, basically Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Gujarat, UP. But remember, Uttar Pradesh, many questions about how many people are actually being tested. Less than 5% positivity at this time is Telangana.
हम अगर केसेस को डे ऑन डे एनालाइज करें तो एक अर्ली ट्रेंड हम देखते हैं। पिछले 2 दिनों में एक डिक्लाइन इन केसेस नोट किया जा रहा है, जो कि 3,66,000 कल था, यानी कि पिछले उससे पहले 24 घंटों में था, जो कि घटकर 3,29,942 केसेस पिछले 24 घंटे में देश में नोट किया गया है।
But here's a big shift now from the government. Dr. Balram Bhargav said this of the ICMR, saying that there is no need to do a second RT-PCR test after you test positive. That we know. But more interestingly, he said we're now moving from a 70-30 ratio of RT-PCR to actually doing more rapid antigen tests. Now remember, experts have said that rapid antigen tests are much less reliable, though of course they're much easier to obtain and access in parts of rural India.
RT-PCR tests must not be performed in individuals tested positive once, either by RAT or RT-PCR. We have to, in the field level and in rural areas and in areas which are hard to reach, we have to start using the rapid antigen tests more aggressively. Earlier, our recommendation was 70% RT-PCR and 30% RAT. But now, since the wave is raging, we have requested that we must do more RAT tests.
Well, let's move now to our in-depth analysis of different states. Now, of course, Karnataka is now the worst hit state in India, because Karnataka now has more daily cases than Maharashtra, which was the worst hit state for many months, and also worryingly more daily deaths than Maharashtra. The good news from Maharashtra is that the Mumbai positivity rate is now down to 6%. Bengaluru is at 39.68%.
A breath of hope in the form of 120 tons of liquid oxygen arriving in Whitefield on the outskirts of Bengaluru on Tuesday morning. The Oxygen Express from Tata Nagar was given the highest priority to reach the state where people have died for want of oxygen.
Actually, all those systems are already in place. It depends on the priority what to give. Normally, Mail Express gets higher priority than this one. It takes more time. Systems are already in place. Our people, because this was a special importance train, so our people throughout the night, throughout the day, they were monitoring it minute by minute basis. That is something which normally we're not able to do for every train.
Many hospitals in the state have been struggling with shortage of oxygen, both in districts and in capital Bengaluru. Visiting a COVID war room with hospital beds still hard to come by, the Chief Minister said doctors should tell patients who are getting better in hospital to go home to free up precious hospital beds.
ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಈಗ 30 ದಿನ 337 ಜನ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಗತ್ಯ ಏನಿದೆ? ಅವ್ರು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಜಾಗ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ 20 ದಿನ ಇರುವಂಥವ್ರು 503 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಥರ ಅನಗತ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದೇನೆ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲಲ್ಲೇ ಇತ್ತು. ಯಾರು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಗದೆ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಸಹ ಈ ಮಾಹಿತಿಗಳು ಇದರಿಂದ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬಹಳ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥಿತವಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು.
The BBMP is starting to decentralize COVID management to the ward level in an attempt to improve matters in the city with the highest number of active cases in India. The state's vaccination drive, like that in the rest of the country, has been hit by shortage of supply. Biocon's Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw tweeted, very concerned about why vaccines are in such short supply. If a timetable of supplies is made public, people can patiently wait their turn. With Govind Murthy, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
And moving now from Karnataka to Delhi, where there's been some good news because we're now down to 17.8% positivity rate. That's a 50% dip in 2 weeks. But of course, that's way beyond the 5% positivity rate the WHO recommends to be at a safe level for COVID.
22 days since Delhi went into emergency mode and hundreds of valuable lives lost, the situation regarding beds is finally easing up in India's capital. Today, a 500 ICU bed facility opened to patients attached to Delhi's Guru Tegh Bahadur COVID hospital. A similar setup of another 500 ICU beds will be launched at the historic Ramleela grounds near LNJP hospital 3 days from now. For the first time today, Delhi's hospital dashboard showed at least 4,000 beds available, up from over 2,000 beds on the 20th of April, the second day of lockdown. A visible spike in the availability of beds.
कोरोना की दूसरी लहर भी अब कम हो रही है थोड़ी. आप सभी के सहयोग से लॉकडाउन भी सफल रहा. कल ही जीटीबी हॉस्पिटल के सामने 500 नए आईसीयू के बेड चालू किए हैं. अब दिल्ली में आईसीयू और ऑक्सीजन के बेड्स की कमी नहीं है.
This came along with data showing Delhi's lockdown had worked, the positivity rate dropping to the lowest since the middle of April. On the 11th of May, the positivity rate of Delhi was at 17.8%. But on the 26th of April, positivity rate was at 35%. In simpler words, 15 days ago, 35 in 100 were found COVID positive. But today, as of the 11th of May, every 17 to 18 in 100 is found to be COVID positive. This, however, doesn't mean Delhi has turned the corner. That the state's health minister says will only happen when we are below a positivity rate of 5%.
दिल्ली के अंदर हॉस्पिटल्स की बेड की अभी भी डिमांड है. अभी भी देखिएगा 23,000 के करीब बेड हैं दिल्ली में जो कोरोना के हैं, जिसमें से 20,000 के करीब ऑक्यूपाइड है. 20,000 एडमिशन बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. खाली बेड तो हैं 3,500 के करीब खाली बेड है, बट उससे भी इम्पोर्टेंट है कि 20,000 लोग अस्पतालों के अंदर एडमिट हैं.
Delhi's lockdown may have certainly helped in bringing the number of cases and the positivity rate down. And while measures are being taken to strengthen the fight against COVID with additional ICU beds, officials continue to put out a warning saying that it is not yet time to let our guard down. In New Delhi, with Sharat Sharma and camera person Sushil Rathi, Shanakshi Chakravarti for NDTV.
But as we battle the virus, the big focus is vaccines, and that has become a huge problem now. In fact, with the current shortage, Delhi has said today that the state government has run out of a Covaxin stock for the 18 to 44 age group, which means they say that they'll shut over 125 vaccination centres after Tuesday evening. That's after this evening. The Chief Minister said today that the centre should ask that companies should actually give their vaccination formulas to all vaccination companies. So he asked, how can just 2 companies provide vaccines for the whole of India?
आज केवल 2 कंपनियां वैक्सीन बना रही हैं. ये दोनों मिलके महीने में केवल 6-7 करोड़ वैक्सीन बनाती हैं. तो इस तरह तो हम देश के हर व्यक्ति को वैक्सीन लगाने में हमें 2 साल से ज्यादा टाइम लग जाएगा. तब तक तो कोविड की पता नहीं कितनी लहरें आ जाएंगी, कितनी बर्बादी हो जाएगी. इसलिए जरूरी है कि हम भारत में वैक्सीन का उत्पादन युद्ध स्तर पे बढ़ाएं और देश के हर नागरिक को अगले कुछ महीने में वैक्सीन लगाने की राष्ट्रीय योजना बनाएं.
And Maharashtra's health minister also said today that they are slowing down the COVID vaccination for those in the 18 to 45 age group and diverting vaccines now to those for the second dose of 45 plus.
We have to divert our vaccine, which we had purchased from the market for the group of age group 18 to 44. We had diverted approximately 3 lakh vaccines, and we have now stopped 18 to 44 years the vaccination program. And means we have kept that in abeyance, I mean to say, making it available to the 45 plus age group.
But we continue our special focus on how it's almost impossible to access these vaccines for the vast majority of people who are between 18 to 45. The main issue now has become about getting appointment slots, and making it even more difficult is the huge digital divide. So, for instance, in the slums in Mumbai or in disadvantaged populations like tribal populations, it's impossible to actually get them to get vaccinated.
Shanta Mane and Nasimunisa live in Mumbai's Mankhurd area. Both are not vaccinated yet. Reason? Neither they have smartphones nor they know the process of registering on government's CoWIN portal. They say there is no one to help them around and claim no government representative came in their neighborhood to help.
लाईन हे मोठी आहे आणि मग कोरोनाचे इंजेक्शन घ्यायला जायचं त्या लाईनीत मग कोरोना तिथंच झाल्यावर काय करायचं उन्हा तानाचं मग त्या बारक्या फोनला घेऊन काय करायचं त्या मोठ्या फोनला भी घेऊन काय करायचं किस तरह मोबाइल पे बोले हैं वैक्सीन को डाउनलोड करो हम लोग को तो मोबाइल भी चलाना नहीं आता तो क्या डाउनलोड करें कैसे हम वहां तक पहुंचेंगे.
Shanta Vaidande irons clothes for livelihood. She stays with her husband who recently lost his job in the lockdown. She doesn't have the money to buy a smartphone to get herself registered on CoWIN.
नोंदणी करा आता आपल्याला मोबाईल पण जवळ नाही नोंदणी करता येत नाही आपल्याला मग कशा करायची काय करायचं मोबाईल तर पाहिजे आपल्याकडे मोबाईल बी नाही आता तसला मोबाईल घ्यायला 10-15-20 हजार आपण कुठून आणायचं आपण घर बसली माणसं.
But it is not just the digital divide, but lack of awareness too.
लोगों को ऐसे लगता है कि वैक्सीन लेने के बाद मौत हो रही है तो वैसे जिस बारे में अवेयरनेस गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से होना चाहिए कि लसीकरण के बाद मौत नहीं होती है वो सुरक्षित है उस तरह का अवेयरनेस बस्तियों में नहीं हो रहा है.
In Mumbai's RA, tribals are not even aware of the process and even heard a lot of rumors that vaccine may not be good for them.
कुछ अफवाहें भी है तो उसके बारे में कोई सरकारी लोग यहाँ पे आए जो रिस्पॉन्सिबल जो व्यक्ति है वो आए और यहाँ पे लोगों को अवेयरनेस करे गांव-गांव में जाके तो शायद वो बात बन सकती है.
Mumbai civic body BMC started vaccination drive with vaccinating nearly 50,000 people at the start. But BMC does not have a separate data for slums versus non-slums. As per BMC dashboard, as of May 10th, over 25,000 people were vaccinated in the city of Mumbai. This is up from 16,576 people who got vaccinated on May 9.
Vaccination drive in Mumbai has hit a roadblock. Because there aren't enough vaccines, but also there's a big digital divide because the government expects the people to register first and then come and take the vaccine, but not many people are literate enough to handle a smartphone. Also, not many even have a smartphone. In Mumbai with Sohit Mishra and camera person Praveen Jirohit, this is Purva Chitnas for NDTV.
Well, a quick look at some other news. Telangana has become the latest state to enforce a 10-day lockdown from tomorrow. Even though the positivity rate is still low, cases are rising. Now, the big focus will, of course, be on this lockdown and the worry also that it's closing its state borders in a sense as ambulances from neighbouring Andhra Pradesh were stopped from coming to Hyderabad hospitals. Also today, long lines seen before that lockdown comes into force, not at, well, chemists and grocery shops, but at liquor stores.
Ambulances from Andhra Pradesh carrying COVID patients into Telangana were being stopped at the border points unless they showed documents that confirm admission to hospitals in the state.
కోవిడ్ పేషెంట్ పంపిస్తలేమంటున్నాడు ఇక పేషెంట్కి ఏమో సీరియస్ ఉంది అలా డాక్టర్ అల్లుడేమో అక్కడ హాస్పిటల్లో డాక్టర్ రాత్రి 11:30 నుంచి ఇప్పుడు మధ్యాహ్నం 10-11 సమయాలు ఇప్పుడు 11 అవుతుంది ఇంతవరకు ఆగి ఉంది ఇక్కడనే ఉన్నాం సార్ రాత్రి నుంచి ఇక్కడే ఉన్నారా ఇక్కడనే ఉన్నాం సార్ ఏమన్నా చెప్పారా ఎందుకోసం ఆపినారని ఏం లేదు సార్ ఎందుకు ఆపిస్తారంటే మాకు రూల్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఆపాల్సి వచ్చింది ఆపినామని అంటున్నాం సార్.
The Telangana High Court questioned the administration on why they were stopping ambulances when there were no official orders to stop ambulances or to restrict movement of vehicles between the two states. Following the observations of the Telangana High Court, the state government has imposed a 10-day lockdown, barring 4 hours each day. The health infrastructure of Telangana, especially Hyderabad, is already very stretched, and the Chief Secretary has said that the maximum number of patients here are coming in from other states, whether it's Karnataka, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh or even Andhra Pradesh. And when the COVID numbers are rising, priority would be to the state's own citizens, whereas Andhra Pradesh is arguing that it is unfair to stop ambulances, and technically Hyderabad is also the joint capital of Andhra Pradesh till 2024. The immediate fallout of the lockdown announcement was seen at liquor shops across the state, where there was a huge rush to stock up for the coming days. With camera person Nagraju in Hyderabad, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Well, a quick look at some other news. At this time, you'd think that all central money should be in fighting the pandemic. But guess what? All 77 West Bengal BJP MLAs are now to get central security. The cost to the centre, that's taxpayers' money, is an estimated 5 lakhs a day. That adds up to about 1.5 crores a month. That's estimated. Why exactly do they need the security? Well, the centre said they're under threat. This security includes, well, X category, which means 61 MLAs get that, 1 commando with a protected person 24/7, and Y category to 4 MLAs, that's 8 gunmen to perform mobile and static duty for each MLA. And Suvendu Adhikari, who defeated Mamata Banerjee in Nandigram, already has Z category security, which is 22 gunmen guard this VIP MLA. Always just ridiculous that the taxpayers paying for this at this point.